In this true crime documentary, we uncover the terrifying case of Savannah Spurlock.
Get a good look at her face. Become familiar with Savannah Spurlock. And if you're out and about and you see her and you think you see her, give us a call and let us know.
Our plea is for someone to come forward with information. We need someone who knows something to tell the whole truth, to tell us where she is. This is a woman who is loved. This is a woman who has children who need to know where their mother is.
You got to know something. It's killing me, man. It is. It's taking a toll off me. I know eventually somebody will come up and say something. I just know it. 3 men involved in this. 3 men. Somebody knows something. And somebody, they'll mess up sooner or later. We'll find out what happened to her.
Our story today takes us to the city of Richmond in the state of Kentucky. Richmond is a quiet place in the heart of the state, known for its steady growth and close-knit community life. It blends a calm, rural feel with the energy of Eastern Kentucky University, which has shaped the identity of the area for decades. In this city lived and grew a young mother of 4 named Savannah Spurlock. Savannah was born on the 5th of February. She was raised by her parents, Ellen and Cecil, and at the age of 10, she became the big sister to the youngest child in the family, Stephanie. Her mother remembers her as a very happy child. Full of energy, she loved spending time with her friends and family, and she celebrated her birthdays at the local skating rink. Savannah loved dancing too, and she joined the dance team in both middle school and high school. She was the kind of girl who blended easily with everyone, and she had many friends. In high school, she met her best friend Sabrina through the dance team, and the two became inseparable. In 2014, they graduated together and joined Eastern Kentucky University. Savannah and Sabrina lived together for a while in college, but Savannah's life began to take a different path when she became pregnant with her first child, Noah. She was young, but that never affected her ability to be a mother. Her friends and family said she never hesitated to take responsibility, and her love for her son was always clear. But balancing college and motherhood was incredibly exhausting. A year after her first child, she had her second, and although her relationship with the father was good, the love between them had faded, so she separated from him at the age of 20. Around this time, she met her boyfriend, Shaq Smith, and soon became pregnant again, this time with twins, which made her a mother of 4 at just 22. She couldn't juggle college and raising 4 children, so she left university temporarily. During this period, her mother moved in with her to help take care of the kids. Savannah worked for a while in restaurants and also worked as a lifeguard, a job she really enjoyed. But in 2018, she had a disagreement with her father, Cecil. He felt she wasn't giving motherhood all her time because she liked going out with her friends from time to time. She was still young, trying to enjoy her life, and she loved going to bars and meeting her friends. Her parents had divorced around that time. Her mother, however, remained close to her and helped her a lot with the children. Savannah's life continued between raising her kids, working, and going out at night, until the night of January 3rd, 2019. Savannah borrowed her mother's car and drove to a friend's house where she left it. From there, they traveled from Richmond to Lexington in her friend's car, moving from one bar to the next. The group, which was 3 people, ended their night at a place called the Other Bar in Lexington. There, the group split up. One friend left early because she had work in the morning. Later, after more drinks, the second friend also left after getting into an argument with Savannah. And so Savannah stayed alone in the bar in Lexington after hours of drinking. Ellen Spurlock woke up late at night and noticed her daughter was not in bed as she expected. She called Savannah around 2:30 in the morning. Savannah answered the first call, but she was distracted, chatting and laughing, and didn't want to talk, so she hung up. A few minutes later, Ellen called again through FaceTime.
Obviously intoxicated, very intoxicated, but she kept professing to me that she was fine, she was with friends in Lexington, and that she promised she would be home in the morning.
The call was short, and her mother had no idea it would be the last time she ever heard her daughter's voice. The next morning, she woke up to find that Savannah had not come home, and panic hit instantly. This was completely out of character for her. If she ever planned to stay out, she always told her mother, and in their last call, she said she would be back soon. Ellen felt deep down that something was terribly wrong. She tried calling her again, But by 8:30 in the morning, Savannah's phone was switched off. She called her best friend, Sabrina, hoping maybe Savannah had stayed over or gone somewhere else. But Sabrina had not seen her, and she had already tried calling Savannah 15 times without success. That evening at 8 o'clock, Savannah's mother called the police to report her missing, and she explained that in their last call, Savannah was in a car with two strangers because her friends had left her alone earlier that night. The police began their investigation with her mother's car, which was parked at a friend's house. Inside it, they found her main bag containing her personal belongings and also her second phone. She had taken only a small purse for the night out. When police questioned the friends who were with her, they said they spent the night with 3 men, 2 black and 1 white, but they could not remember their names because they had all been drinking heavily. They told police the men were very kind and never showed any sign of danger. Surveillance cameras outside the bar showed Savannah around 2:30 in the morning with 2 of those men. She looked cold, but she did not appear scared or upset. Another camera captured the same group walking toward a nearby parking garage. Savannah got into the backseat of a car with one of the men, while another got behind the wheel, and a third man followed them in a small black pickup truck. By Tuesday, January 8th, the Richmond Police Department released their first public post, asking for help identifying the men seen with Savannah. They pointed out that the white man had been driving a Chevy S10 truck.
A young Madison County mother has been missing for days.
Savannah Spurlock's family is especially worried after she was seen on surveillance video leaving a Lexington bar with 2 unidentified men. LEX 18's Lee Searcy has the details in tonight's big story at 6.
The 22-year-old is a single mother of 4. She was last seen leaving this Lexington bar around 2:45 Friday morning. These are surveillance pictures of Savannah Spurlock leaving the other bar on South Limestone with 2 unknown men. The white man was seen driving this black S10 pickup alone.
At this stage, the police launched a massive search for Savannah, beginning on January 8th and continuing for weeks. Then those weeks slowly turned into months. But now we move to January 13th, when her family and friends decided to start their own investigation, hoping to uncover anything about the night she vanished. The support from the community was overwhelming. People were heartbroken that a young mother of 4 could disappear without a trace. Many dedicated their time to searching for her, putting up flyers everywhere and spreading the word on social media as much as possible. Multiple agencies also joined the search using aerial units and search dogs, and with every day that passed without answers, the family, friends, and the entire community sank deeper into sadness and frustration until the police finally managed to identify 2 of the men seen in the footage, as well as the third man who did not appear on camera. On that day, while police were searching for the vehicle, one officer at a checkpoint was surprised when the suspect truck stopped right in front of him. The driver stepped out and said he was the person who had been in the vehicle and wanted to speak with police. This man was David Sparks, and he said that Savannah had gone back to his home after leaving the bar. He claimed they continued the party into the early morning hours. During that time, the other 2 men eventually left, and only he and Savannah remained. He said she was extremely drunk, and so was he, so he went to his bedroom to sleep while she asked to sleep on the couch. But around 7 in the morning, he said she woke him up, asking for the address of the house because someone was coming to pick her up. He gave her the address and went back to sleep, and when he woke up again, he found the front door unlocked and Savannah gone. He said that when he saw his truck on television, he came forward to give a statement. Police then asked him to provide the names of the other 2 men who had been with him, and both were brought in for questioning. But when the other 2 men arrived, everything changed. Because although all 3 gave the same story up until they reached the house, what happened inside the house was completely different from what David claimed.
You think David would have had any reason to do anything to Savannah?
I don't think so. Is she alive when you leave the house?
Yeah, most definitely, yeah. Yeah. Like, you sure we should let that girl there? I was like, yeah, why? I'm like, I don't know. He's like, David really, really want do you know, like, seriously, do you know what's going on? What she at, whatever? He's adamant, no, I don't know where she's at.
Do you believe him?
70-30.
Is David weird?
Oh, yeah, he's weirdo. Can't find that. I mean, he's got unorthodox like thinking. I mean, certain things he do is just like different than others. He's paranoid.
The interrogation with the two men lasted a long time, but in the end, both agreed that from the moment Savannah walked into the house, David was focused on her and kept touching her in a way that made them uncomfortable. It was obvious to them that he intended to sleep with her, and that made the two friends hesitate to leave her alone with him, but eventually they decided to leave the house and go home. Based on the information given by the two men and David's own story, police had no reason to believe the other two were involved in Savannah's disappearance, but they knew something about David was wrong. He quickly became the primary suspect, and eventually police announced to the public. At the same time, they revealed the identities of the men in the footage that they were executing a full search warrant at David's home. David's parents also owned a farm in the area which police went to search on the 22nd. Officers believed that if David had done something to Savannah, this would most likely be the place he would choose to hide her body or any evidence. They seized a white vehicle found on the property, but aside from that, nothing else turned up. The reason for seizing the vehicle was never clearly explained, but Savannah's family and friends held on to the hope that this might lead to answers. People from several law enforcement agencies, along with volunteers from the Cajun Coast, search and rescue group, walked tree lines, ditches, and open fields, looking for the 22-year-old mother. They searched for clothing, a phone, or anything that might point them toward her location. The search area was less than half a mile from where police had executed the search warrant the previous week, and where they had seized the vehicle that night. Once the community learned about David and about his parents' property, the lack of evidence there did not discourage them. Instead, it pushed them and the local search teams to work even harder for answers. On February 5th, which would have been Savannah's 23rd birthday, her family police dog unit's members of the community and even former Marine soldiers gathered to search for her. Tragically, the search continued for weeks. Then weeks turned into months, and with each passing day, without answers, her family and friends felt their hope slipping away. They understood that the longer the wait, the smaller the chance of finding her alive, and that is the most painful reality anyone could face. They reached a point where they were no longer searching for rescue, but for truth, and that is something that destroys a family and a community. Her family begged the public to come forward with any information, anything, no matter how small, that could point them in the right direction.
Whew, I don't know if I can keep on going and not knowing what happened to my little girl. Got to know something. It's killing me, man. It's taking a toll off me. I know eventually somebody will come up and say something. I just know it. 3 men involved in this. 3 men. Somebody knows something. And somebody, they'll mess up sooner or later. We'll find out what happened to her.
It's hard. I'm doing all right. I mean, with my faith, my praying, the support of family, friends, community, but it is very difficult. I mean, it's 10 weeks. 10 hard weeks.
Amid the pain, Ellen and her family have been overwhelmed by the community's support.
The reward fund, if we might need to put up any money for anything else related to bringing her home, in the inevitable conclusion that she is not with us anymore, it would help her final expenses.
While the family tried as much as possible to stay strong, the investigators had a completely different task, because every path kept leading them back to David Sparks. Yet the search of his house, his vehicle, and his parents' farm had revealed nothing. This meant one of two things. Either David had managed to commit the perfect crime without leaving a single trace, or the first search had missed something important. So on April 2nd, 2019, investigators executed a second search of David's home, but this time using advanced equipment, and the idea of a perfect crime slowly began to fade. The devices detected traces of blood on the door of David's closet, and tests confirmed that the DNA belonged to Savannah. This evidence changed everything and confirmed to investigators that David was responsible for Savannah's disappearance. But what was even more disturbing was what they found next. A strange set of writings left by David on his bedside table, revealing extremely dark thoughts. The note read, "I simply do not care about anything at all. I feel no real love for anything. Now that I know who I truly am, I see that I have to hide my real self even more. But all I want is to be free. I live in a constant state of aggression, and nothing helps. After that, I have nothing left. I have a void instead of a soul that absorbs every attempt I make to feel whole. I want my family to understand me, maybe only so they can justify my other actions over the years. But how do you look into your mother's eyes and tell her you are a natural-born psychopath, that she gave birth to a monster, someone who would not care at all about squeezing the last breath out of another human or plunging a knife into their chest and smiling about it? My mom is the only person in this world I never want to let down. Yet I see this disappointment on her face every day. This message deeply alarmed investigators, and they brought David in that same day to question him about it. But he claimed it was an old journal entry he had written a year and a half earlier, after a girl he liked rejected him.
I'm assuming you all have read the page that was in my binder. Mm-hmm. Okay. That's why I kind of hesitated. That was about a year and a half to 2 years ago.
He said he wrote it while in a dark place after being rejected by a woman.
I was dealing with a lot of rage. I was depressed. I was just mad at the world.
When investigators asked David about the blood on his closet door, he said he had no idea where it came from, and then gave another excuse, saying Savannah had been very drunk and might have injured herself, or maybe it was from her period. His answers only fueled the investigators' anger, but in the end, they had no choice but to release him. However, they placed him under strict surveillance and soon discovered that he had been closely following the case and even telling his friends that police were trying to frame him because the case looked dramatic in the media. A white man and 2 black men accused of harming a 22-year-old mother of 4. Police continued monitoring him for nearly 2 months, and during that time, he seemed to live a completely normal life. But that would not last much longer. On July 10, 2019, police received a 911 call from a local pastor saying that while working in his field near a strawberry patch, he smelled a very foul odor. Officers came that day but could not locate the source of the smell, so they left. But that pastor knew something was not right, because he was not just any pastor. He was David Sparks' father, and he knew his son was the prime suspect in Savannah's disappearance. He contacted David's attorney, who then reached out to investigators, and that same night, at around 10 p.m., police units and cadaver dogs began searching the field again, turning it upside down for the 3rd time, but this time focusing their efforts near the strawberry bushes. They're buried 19 inches deep. They found a tightly folded body, but they could not immediately determine whether it belonged to a woman or a man. Eventually, it was confirmed to be the body of 22-year-old Savannah Spurlock.
We get to the big story. For 6 months, Savannah Spurlock's family has been searching for answers, hoping to bring the missing Madison County mother of 4 home.
Their hopes were dashed last night when police found a body now positively identified as Savannah Spurlock, buried behind a home in Garrett County. The owner's son, one of 3 men last seen with Spurlock in January, is behind bars tonight.
Police say David Sparks' own father, a local minister, noticed a foul odor in the backyard of his property here on Fall Lick Road. He's the one who called his attorney, which then led to this massive police search around his yard and ultimately to the discovery of human remains buried, concealed in an unnatural position, according to the arrest citation.
After the arrest of David, and although the family had finally found Savannah and would be able to give her a proper burial, there was still one question everyone kept asking. Why was the body not discovered during the first search, or even the second search that took place near the same spot where she was eventually found? This question grew louder, especially after the medical examiner announced that because of the condition of the body, they would not be able to determine the cause of death. That only added more mystery to Savannah's final moments, while David continued his complete silence about what truly happened to her inside his home.
Can you briefly explain a scenario where, investigators and dog teams were out there 4 months ago, but yet a body was not found, and here we are?
Getting into, why we didn't see it 4 months ago, it would be complete speculation as far as moving forward with that. So I'd hate to speculate and give false information.
Was she missed? There she was the whole time.
That's something that I ask myself actually still when I think about Savannah is how did we not find her? How did I not find her? I actually stood on the strawberry patch, like where it was.
Frey says looking back, Sparks was always keeping a close eye on them.
In fact, the day that we searched the first time with the cadaver dogs on the farm or at the family property, now that I can go back and think about it, he was absolutely 100% just focused on the garden.
After finding Savannah's body and arresting David, the police were finally able to uncover a series of crucial clues. The first was the carpet she had been wrapped in, a carpet that matched exactly the one inside David's room. It later became clear that on the very morning Savannah disappeared, David had texted his sister asking where she bought that same carpet. She told him it was from Walmart, so he went and purchased a new one and replaced the old one before investigators arrived for the first search. They also discovered that David had been following the investigation closely. His internet history showed repeated searches for missing mom from Richmond. It was obvious he was worried. He knew they were getting closer, and he knew his time was running out. David's preliminary hearing took place just days later, on the 15th of July.
Observed with the assistance of the FBI Special or Evidence Response Team, the body was exhumed from a clandestine grave. That body was concealed within multiple black trash bags. The body was unclothed. The feet were bound with tape, and the body was in an unnatural position.
Okay. Did you find anything lying next to her body, against her body?
I did.
What did you find?
It was what I would describe as an accent rug, rectangular in shape, grayish.
Before the trial, David remained in jail, and while he was there, a guard found drawings in his cell that revealed even more about how dark and disturbed he truly was. He had drawn an image of two women, one of them tied up and the other completely naked. On the 1st of December 2020, which was the day Savannah's twins turned 2, David changed his plea to guilty. He admitted to the killing, to tampering with evidence, and to the abuse of a corpse. This was part of a deal that spared him a possible life sentence in exchange for a 50-year prison term. The sentencing hearing took place on the 17th of December 2020, and because of the COVID situation, the session was held over Zoom.
You agreed at that time to plead guilty to the charges of murder, tampering with physical evidence, and abuse of a corpse. Recommendation of the Commonwealth was 50 years on the murder, 5 years on the tampering, 12 months on the abuse of the corpse. All concurrent for a total of 50 years. I will accept that recommendation and impose that sentence.
David will serve his 50-year sentence in the Kentucky Correctional Complex and will be eligible for parole on July 2nd, 2039, or possibly full release on November 13th, 2068. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more true crime documentaries. See you in the next video.